Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, uh, I'm back after a long time, and today I have come with a very interesting topic, and the topic is Leidenfrost Effect. Okay, basically, what triggers me to do a video on this topic? It's a very small video. Uh, what triggers me to do a video on this topic is that means recently one of my relatives he told me that he has seen while he was visiting one of the places, he has seen a man performing very extraordinary feat. What was the feat? There was a large um, this you can say in Hindi we say kadhai, and in that huge large boiling pot, in that pot there was oil, completely filled with oil, and the oil was like boiling at roughly around 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. And what the man does, he dips his hand in the oil, and then before everybody does the same, he dips his hand in the oil and then puts it back, and he's unharmed. So that was like a godly act. Okay. And it was like he was doing some kind of devotion, and he does this, and so he says, look, I'm unharmed. So basically, what has physics to do with his act? Yes, it has a lot of things to do. I want to tell you is this. First of all, say if you also can do this, but I request you not to do. Okay. First of all, he dips his hand in a very cold water, and then he quickly pours his hand on the boiling oil and then takes it back. So what actually happens here is this. See, I'm going to explain you this Leidenfrost effect in very layman terms, so that whosoever watches this video can understand. Okay, what is actually happening is this: when he brings his hands near the oil surface, since the oil is at a boiling at 180 to 200 degrees Celsius, it is extremely hot. So his hand, remember, is very wet. So the liquid layer, that is the oil, is raging at 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. It is very very hot. Then the boiling point of water. Okay. So what happens is, immediately there develops a vapor due to this person's taking his hand near the oil and dipping it. There is a insulating layer of vapor developed between his hand and the oil, as a result of which, we know, by the way, water vapor is a very poor conductor of heat. So as a result of which, for very small amount of time, the person is unharmed. But if the person keeps his hand on the oil for a long amount of time, then injuries might come, then he might be harmed. So as my nephew told, that he dipped his hand in the oil and immediately took it out. That means an insulating layer of vapor was developed between the oil surface and the cold hand, which was dipped in water already. So the vapor so what happened was that the liquid in the so the cold water started vaporizing. Okay. And he, by the way, the person cannot do it for a long amount of time, because if he does, then he will be harmed, because the cold water which started turning into vapor will be finished, and then the heat might penetrate his skin. Okay. So that is the overall explanation of Leidenfrost effect. So in this effect, what happens is that if you bring a liquid layer in contact with a surface, okay, so if the surface is at a much higher temperature than the liquid's boiling point, so there develops a very thin vapor between the liquid and the surface, okay, which acts like an insulator. Okay. And this phenomena was exploited by the person known as Leidenfrost. So I hope you could understand this small video, and by the way, it was a very interesting one. If you think from the